In this episode of Tfx Tv, I'm going to show you how to make your iPhone photos look like they were taken with a professional camera. Posting your photos on Facebook using these simple steps will make your friends jealous. It's time for Tfx TV. Let's plug in. Hey everybody, this is Aaron Anderson with Tfx TV. Today we're going to show you how to fix your photos up using the iPad. Now some of these photos I used my iPhone 4, a couple of the pictures maybe my wife's iPhone 5, and some of the pictures I used my GH2. Now I'm not sure what pictures are what, but you'll get the idea of how to use these apps. And if you go to my website at trinityfxmg.com, over there you'll see examples of before and afters. But here today we're just going to show you the basics of the programs that I use, because almost all the photos that you see on my website under this tutorial here all use the same kind of techniques, just in different areas and different ways. So let's get started. So first of all, these are the programs that I use most, and that is here you can see the big lens. What that does is if you're taking photos with your iPhone, you don't have a lot of depth of field, so that means like your subject will be in focus and the background is in focus. But with like professional DSLR cameras, you can focus on your subject and have the background blurry. Well, in order to get that look on an iPhone, you're going to need big lens, and we'll show you how to do that here in a minute. The next app that I use a lot is Tfx Ultra. That lets you do just all sorts of things: relight, levels, color correction, and all kind of stuff, and we'll show you how that. Now the PS Express, the only thing I use that for is just for noise reduction. So with these, if you're using like an iPhone and you're taking pictures in kind of low light situations, it's going to be very noisy, or another word for that is very grainy. So there's a add-on to this app that you have to pay for, and it is reducing the noise or noise reduction to get rid of all the grain. Then we got our lens flares to do exactly that, to add lens flares. Lens light has other kind of lighting effects that I use. Then we've got the pimple eraser. Of course they made it to delete pimples from someone's face, but I use it for all sorts of things. If there's just anything in the scene that I don't like or whatever, I can get rid of it. Now you can't get rid of big objects because it'll look very smeary and smudged, but I actually use that to get rid of a thread on a t-shirt that was like poking out above someone's shoulder, and it just kind of threw the picture off. It was a close-up, and so I used that to actually get rid of a piece of thread that was sticking straight up from their shoulder there. PS Touch is a really good program. I only get in there if I want to do like a lot of different layers and stuff on a photo. We won't go in that on this because it's there are a lot of features in there. It'll take a whole tutorial on that. So let's get started. So first thing I want to do is, let's do this one picture. I'm doing this on the fly here. Let's do this photo here. I'll show you some techniques. Now, I took this photo with the iPhone 4S, and the picture looks pretty good, but we can fix that a little bit. First thing what we can do is, I like to add some, like this flag here. If I want to brighten up that flag, what I would do in this program is, I'm already on light here. We can go to relight, and that'll pull up this circle here that relights. Now if we click on that, it automatically adds a blur, which I never use, so I turn the blur off. And as you can see here, we have the brightness. So let's just turn it up all the way so we can see what we're doing here. If we go back to that, this allows you to place the light. So let's relight this flag. We can hold the outer And if you go in, you can see how we can relight this flag here. So if we go like that, whoops. Now I'm not going to do a real good job on this. You guys will get the idea. But let's say like right there. So now we can go in and, you know, make it less obvious by maybe just brightening it up like that. Now, when you want to add, let's say we want to light up this side of the flag, we go over here and we go add layer, and that will allow us to add another layer. So let's add another relight, and let's just bring that up over here. Let's shrink that down a little bit. Bring it over here. And let me shut my cell phone off so we don't hear that. Okay, and let's go back up to here and take the blur off, and right about there. And what we do is we go add layer. So there, now you can see that just by relighting the flag will stand out a little more. Okay, so let's go over here to image. Now this isn't necessarily a tutorial for all these different programs. I'm just showing you what I use, but here we've got Film Lab. We've got, you know, 2-strip, 3-strip, grain, Fox film, cross processing, bleach bypass. Then you got different diffusions. Let's say you wanted this diffusion here. It gives you different settings to add. It's not making much of a difference on the photo there. You might not be able to pick it up there. But anyways, let's go back to, if we go to image, this is our levels. If we want to change the levels here, we can crush the blacks just a little bit. And then if you want to see what that looks like without, you can click this little, I don't know what this is, but this is to turn the effect on, off, and on. So if you want to see what an effect looks like without it, you can do that. So anyways, let's say you like that, looks pretty good. We can go and save this out. It's going to save to the camera roll. Okay, now what we can do is go out of here and we can go to PS Express, because it was a little grainy actually. So you see all this grain in here. What we can do now is we go down here, we go reduce noise, and it automatically applies it. But if you roll the on the side here, you can increase or decrease the amount. Watch over here. Well, if you click over here, it goes over there. But you can see here more noise reduction or less noise reduction. So if you want to be really stylized, you can go all the way up and get a really smooth look, and that looks pretty neat actually in itself. If you want to be a little more natural, you can come down to, let's say, right about, I don't know, there. That looks pretty good. That's how I do my noise reduction. So we can just go ahead there. We can click on save, and that'll save that out. And now let's go into, let's say, lens flare. Okay, so now in lens flare, what we do is we want to actually click on load photo, choose photo, and we want to keep picking all these different fixes that we do. So here is how I add my lens flares. Well, first of all, we can go to what effect we want. And I think for this photo, I might have used, I don't know, maybe this one. I can't quite remember, but let's say we put it right there, and then on the adjustments, we can make it brighter or, of course, less bright. And again, anytime you want to put any effects on anything, whether it's pictures or video, you don't want to overdo it because it'll be really obvious. But anyways, that's how I put a lens flare there. And if you want to add a lens flare, okay, yeah, you click on render, and if you want to continue, you can continue and add another lens flare. So let's say we want to go back into effects and add another one. I can't remember what lens flares I used. Maybe I used this one for the final. And I think I might have went something like, that in the original. think something like that. So you add your lens flares there. I think if we go into, what was it again? Effects, render, to get another, continue, to get another lens flare. There it is. We don't want that one. Then I think I did something like this, and I think I put it somewhere right there, and I lowered the brightness down. I don't know which one I used. Maybe it was that one. So you can see the, there. Whoops. So I think that's what I did. That looks pretty close to the original. And then what I did was, once you're all done with that, you go save to camera roll. Then what I did then, I added a moon to this. So I think I went to lens light, and they give you a moon in here, I believe. Choose photo. Oh, that's, yeah, okay. There's the moon. You put the moon up here. Actually, with the moon, you have to pinch and shrink it down. And I think I put it up here somewhere like that. So there's how you get the moon on there. And I think that's all I did with this photo. And then all you do is, of course, you save it to camera roll. Go back into your camera roll, and there's your photo that you just fixed. Okay, now let's go to another photo, and what we'll do is now we'll do this. This big lens, actually, they don't have it for iPad, they only have it for the iPhone, but nonetheless you can still use it. Now since I got my camera propped up the way it is, I don't want to move my iPad, so we'll just work in this way here. But you go load photo, and let's take this photo here. So I apologize for the crookedness here, but let's just do that. We click on advanced, and now what we do is we go in the line here what we want to keep in focus. So we could just do something rough like that, and then if you go next, it'll allow us to actually, so we can go with, whoops, we can go with focus, and now we can turn this dot down, and we can go in all these different places where we want it to focus. Now I would, I think what I did with this photo actually is I cropped it first. So let's just do something here. Like that. And you can change the aperture. So we can go, you know, if you go 1.8, of course you can have a really blurry background. To me, you know, that just doesn't look right. This looks good to me. So what else we got here? We got, if you click on blur, you can just kind of come over some of these areas that you think should be blurry. And then you also have this little slider here will make the blur more spread out, or basically more sharp, or hug the your object here. As you can see, there's a fine line there, but if you go like this, it blends it a little better. It all depends on what you want. But if we want just to blur, if we want to blur this now, because we can see there's an edge there, we just keep going like this, and you can see it's starting to blur up around there. It's a little hard working in this angle, I guess, but you can see where I'm getting at. Okay, so let's say that's what you want. From in here, you can click on filter, and I don't know if I used one of these filters in the final or not, I think I might have used something like this. And of course you can blend no filter effect or, you know, a lot of filter effect. I think in the original I might have went somewhere around here. So that's how you can basically blur your backgrounds. Now on this shot I know, because this doesn't look very realistic, because if this was a photo, a lot of this would be in focus around here too. So what we can do now is let's just save this out. We'll save that to camera roll real quick. And now I opened up this, and let's open up that new photo that I just did, because I know I cropped it, and we can crop the image. Up here's the crop tool, and if you want to crop it the way you want to unlock it. By unlocking it, it'll allow you to take this wherever you want. And I think the original photo that I did was something like this. I believe something like that. So if we click on done, see, it looks a little more realistic now. Now down at the bottom doesn't, so we would want to crop that more. Something like that. And I think that's pretty much what I did. I think I even actually made it a little darker. Something like that. And remember, what you want to do is go add layer. And if you like that, that's good. But what we could do also is go to lens, and we go vignette, and we want the circle vignette. And if we click on, here's where we can change the vignette. So I think I did something like this, and then the softness and the spread on it. I think I did something like that. So that's how you can make your iPhone. Now it's not perfect around here. You spend more time blurring it and stuff, but that's how you can make your iPhone look like it was a DSLR camera with you know, like a 2.8 or 1.8 a lens on there. And then what you want to do is just save it. There you go. Okay, so let's go on to the next photo. Again, you're basically going to see the same thing over and over. Now, some pictures I use more, what do you call it? There's like so many features in this program, and I do use some of these for other lenses. It just for other pictures, but it really just depends on what you want. A lot of times I come in here to special effect and use polarizer, and that, you know what, I'll show you that right now. Let's go to let's load up this picture here. And now in this picture, I think I pretty much did use polarizer. It darkens the sky a little bit, depending on how much you want. You know, gives those blues a little more blue. Let's go all the way with this one. I think I did that, and there's saturation here, of course. And then don't forget to add layer. Then I think I went to image, and we can just don't want to go too much on this stuff. I think I just brightened up like that. Add layer. Now I went into light, and I went into relight, and I just relit each one here. Don't forget to take the blur off. And I don't know. That looks good enough there. Then what you can do is add layer. And then just relight, add another one. Add layer. And relight. Well, we can shut the blur off now. But you see the idea how I relight different things, just whatever you want in the scene to pop out. This would basically be like if we were to set this up as a real shoot, we would probably just use physical lights, of course, to light the objects up that you want lit up. But you know, when you're on vacation, or even if you're not on vacation, you're just running around taking pictures, there's, you know, just relight it later in the program here. So let's say we like that. We want to go ahead and save that out. And I just went into here. Let's load a new, oops, let's go back to here. And I don't remember which effect I used. I think it was something like one of these. I put that up on the corner. Something like that. Make it look like the sun's kind of up there. You can move this to get more purple or whatever color you want. And then we want to add another lens flare. Hey, I can't remember what I used on those the boats back there. I can't remember, but I used something like this. I think I did something like that. And I believe that's all I did with that one. Go load, oops, then we go save. Save to camera roll. And there's the before. And now, where's the, and then there's the after. So there you have it. What else didn't I go over? I showed you how to blur your subjects or put your subjects in focus. This thing has so many programs, but the ones the features I showed you there are the most that I use. We showed you how to reduce the noise, add lens flares, add a moon. The pimple eraser, I don't know if I have anything to show on that, but let's try, I know, let's go with, I don't even really know. Let's just try anything. I don't even know if it's going to work on stuff. Let's go open photo. Here's how you do it anyways. You drag this out on top of what you don't want. Let's say we don't want this. Let's say we don't want this little light right here. Let's say we don't want that little light. Drag it there, and then see, this is before, you can see it, and this is after, so it deleted the light, which is pretty cool. Let's try, and then if you want to do another one, just drag another one down. Let's see if it'll work on this. Now, this is pretty big. Yeah, see, that's a little too big there. Let's try the O here, see what happens. There's the O before. See how it's smudged up? It pretty much took control of that, but you know, it works on some things, but this isn't like delete everything. It just works on certain things. But anyways, that's that, and when you're done, you just go like that and you save photo. So there you have it, guys. That's how I fix and color correct my photos. Again, there's so many different tools in these programs that you can just tweak and play around with, but the pictures that you see on my website is basically the vignettes, the relighting, reducing the noise, blurring the background by using big lens and focusing the subject. And that's basically it. Again, if there's other photos that I just need to use some other tools with inside these apps, I'll use them, but that's it. So anyways, thanks for checking this out. This is Aaron Anderson with TFX TV. Till next time.